All right. It's been a while since I worked on this project. Probably, if we look at the log here. Yeah, last commit was December 10th, so well over a month ago. So I'm gonna have to reboot my knowledge of this system. But yeah, I wanted to start by going in. There's a Excalibur file I want to open up. Just go under here, media proxy, docs, this thing, connections. Oh, that's what this thing was. Okay. That's not really helpful. I will clear the canvas. Basically, this is just a diagram I had to show how it does the man-in-the-middling. It has the client connects to the proxy server. It does the connect thing, and then this thing then just forwards on the TLS traffic directly to a fake TLS server here that does TLS termination, and then it communicates with the upstream and is able to inspect everything. So I had all that working. The problem I don't know, there's a bunch of stuff that I wanted to think about redesigning with this. The first is that it relies very heavily on Docker. Let's see. Yeah, it uses Python, virtualenv, Docker, like a bunch of these like technologies that like they're not bad technologies, they're great technologies, but they just like they're very heavy. And I think what ideally I would want to have is a binary that I can just hand someone and they just run it on their computer, whether it's Mac OS, Windows, Linux, whatever, which would require, or not require, but I would prefer to have a language and tooling that supports really easy cross compilation. So my language of choice, of course, is Go. To do that, I've already implemented a good chunk of this in Go. It goes really great for networking. The problem is that I need a dependency on Python, because Python, this YTDLP project that I use to like get a bunch of metadata and information about YouTube videos, is implemented in Python. And reverse engineering that thing, plus like the whole benefit of using that thing is that like people constantly keep that thing up to date when YouTube changes their, systems, and I don't want to have to maintain all that stuff. So I need to take a dependency to avoid maintaining all that, and YTDOP is just the best for that specific thing. I mean, it's mainly meant for like downloading videos, but I don't want to use it for downloading videos. I just wanted to use it for collecting metadata. And you could see like there was a proxy YTDLP main. So this Flask app that I created, this Flask app was super easy to write. And so you can just use YouTube DL from YTDLP, import YouTube DL, and then you just give it some options and you can make calls into it. This YDL thing. So this is like super easy to write. On the face of it, like I don't really care if I was shipping this into like a production environment where I had like Kubernetes and container orchestration, or even just like Docker Compose. Like I wouldn't mind doing this, but if I want to ship this thing to like people and actually have them run it on their computers, which is like the primary use case I want, is for people to be able to run this on their own. People don't like running Docker containers. They like running programs like binaries. ELF binaries, portable executable COF binaries, or Mako binaries. Like they don't want to have to download Docker and spin up a virtual machine because you're not on Linux, so it doesn't run the container natively, and have to download a bunch of intermediary containers, and it has a dependency on the Python container, it has to download all the layers to the Python container, and people are not only unfamiliar with that, are intimidated by that, and don't want to wait for stuff like that. They just want to download the freaking file that runs the program and then run the program. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm thinking about using Zig, but I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking about it right now. But yeah, give me 1 second. I need to take a quick break here. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. So yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is do some pros and cons here. Just pop this thing out here. So actually no, I'll just kill this and pop that in. Yeah, that works. These guys can go away, they'll come back later. So what I want is a good cross compilation. These are the properties I want in a language. So I want good cross compilation. I want good support for networking. I want interop with C. I'll say good interop with C. And this would be for Python, etc. Native UI, etc. Say it like that. Oops. What else do I want? I want a language that can I guess that's about it, right? There's some other things I was thinking of, but I forgot them. So there's a few languages that kind of come to mind for this project. The obvious candidates are Go, Rust, and Zig. We can also do like a maturity thing here. Maturity. So let's do maybe a check here. So I can do Command Control E, check, mark. There we go. So now I go in here and I go bam. So Go has good cross compilation. It has great support for networking. Does not have good interop with C, so I'm gonna have to maturity. It gets credit for that. Let's do a. What's the middle ground between check and red X? Sad. Disappointed face there. We'll give it a disappointed face on interop. I'm sure it's possible to do those things with Go. It's just going to be sad. And familiarity on my end. So I'm very familiar with Go. Rust, so this can be our cross. So we do Command Control E, red cross or red check, red X, X, cross. There we go, cross mark. So Rust, I'm not super familiar with. I read a book on it, so I'm kind of familiar with it. Same thing with Zig. I haven't read any books on it, but still only kind of familiar with it. Maturity, Zig gets a sour cross for maturity. Rust is pretty mature at this point. Good interrupt with C. Both of these get check marks for that. Good support for networking. To be honest, it's going to be, we'll do Command Control E question mark. Is that like a, yeah, question mark, that one. So I don't know Zig's story around networking. I know Rust is async await with like some type of like event loop or some type of scheduler implementation. I forget what they call it. I mean, it's good. It's production ready, but it's like you have to deal with colored functions. So it's not great, but we'll say it's good. Cross compilation. I know Zig has great cross compilation. Let's ask AI. How is the story around Rust cross compilation? Is it a pain in the ass? Okay, so we're gonna give it a red X there, according to AI. You know, I was leaning towards Zig before I created this little matrix here, but now that I look at Go, I'm like, it can do everything. It just has a kind of a shitty C interop story. And Zig would be more fun for me because I would learn new things. But if I just want to be productive, and to be honest, the TLS stuff in Go is really great. I already have part of it implemented in Go. So I think what I'm going to do is just like say implement it in Go and then use some type of Python interop and cross compile everything to the target. Let's see if we can get that going here. Media proxy. So instead of having this separate command, cmd, this, what do they call it? This guy here, ytdlp. Instead of having that, then we're going to have we're going to have it as, I think we have to move to a single binary. So let me look at my contacts. TC media proxy. Oops, sorry, media proxy. T. I had more at TN. Yeah, there we go. Task. If I just do that, show everything. Let's do some of these. Like I want to start this number 5, T start 5. So the last setup that I had Chrome talking to the media proxy getting intercepted. The problem that I ran into though is that the communication with the proxy itself, while it was communicating to the upstream over TLS, the initial connect was non-encrypted. So I have to remember how I was starting that. Chromium. Yeah. It's going to be hard for me to remember how to do that. Rip grep Chromium. Nope. So I have to go back into my local share, find the Chromium thing, Chromium, and then here I created this Chromium desktop. Yeah, Vim applications, Chromium desktop, and then here I had some like flags which were like PAC maybe, proxy. No, can I search for proxy? There we go. So I was pointing at this PAC that I had running on localhost 8000. So let's get that started. We'll say docker compose up, and we'll daemonize it. I have to jump back to here. All right, so now everything's running. And so if I say docker compose, I think it's like docker compose now, logs, and we'll do /follow. Oh wow, that was from like okay. Docker compose down. Let's tear that down, because that's been up and running forever. I didn't even realize I left that running. Okay, docker compose up, daemonize, and then we'll grab our logs. Okay, everything's new. So now if I hit like youtube.com here, it goes to the proxy, which is just some test HTML that I have. So what exactly was I going to do here? I forget. Oh, the encryption. So the problem is that the PAC file, if I go and look at that local share applications Chromium, PAC, this proxy PAC file, not only is this not over HTTPS, which isn't a big deal, but the I guess this should be over HTTPS, right? So that should be over HTTPS, not a big deal, but it should be. And then when this thing can curl, like if I curl up this file here, if I curl that, or we'll, I guess we can't do TLS, but if we did this, it's going over proxy instead of HTTPS. That's the problem. So I'm going to ask AI to rewrite this PAC file to use HTTPS. Oops. Stop, please. Stop. I did click stop. This problem on Linux is my copy paste when I move my mouse gets all messed up. So yeah, I just use HTTPS here. So I thought, instead of proxy. Okay, let's go ahead and fix that. So the first thing would be PAC here, go here and say HTTPS, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to go back here and remove that for now. And then I'm gonna kill this and logs. So say down. I have to rebuild these things now. Come on. And then, is there a make file here at all? Compose, no. Well, Docker compose up, rebuild. And Docker compose, how do you force rebuild? Build, not rebuild. Wait for that to come up. I'll kill all this stuff. I don't think I have Chromium running now. ps aux grep I Chromium. Oh, it is running. What is it doing? Oh, I have this thing in the background. Some Surge Lightning Talk? I don't even know what this is.
Where is he? Oh, there he is. Brian Cantrell. There's
Brian
a title
Cantrell.
to this.
Okay, well, we don't need to go into that. Okay, so now... Okay, now we don't have Chrome running. I'm going to say detach. Okay, everything's running. I'm going to hit Control C to kill everything. Kill it again. Down. Okay, everything's removed. Build, detach. And then we'll log. There we go. Okay. So now I can launch Chromium and go to YouTube. And it went to YouTube itself because it was not able to support HPS in the PAC file. Is that because I don't have TLS enabled on the proxy itself? Maybe. I'm pretty sure I enabled it. So if I do curl, I have to use AI to remember how to do this. So give me the curl command that will proxy to an proxy request to a different server. Let's see, Docker PS. So the proxy itself is this guy here. So we can do curl to, oops, sorry. Localhost. This is going to be 8080. And we're just going to say youtube.com. And that went to our example. Yeah. Okay, and if I do another split here, jump over to media proxy, and we'll do Docker compose logs follow. And then in here, we can see we're going to there. Say youtube.com foo, Everything's good. It's being intercepted. Now if we go to HPS, it does not like that. So that means that my container is not able to speak HTTPS. So let's go ahead and open up our main.go for the proxy. So it's got a handler, and it looks like this is, oops. HTTP server, adder, handler. We do listen and serve, but we're not doing TLS. Let's go to Golang HTTPS server example. Oops. There's a listen and serve TLS. So this thing is actually doing the TLS here. Wait, if that's 8080 and this is 8080, how does that even work? The man in the middle is talking on 8080, but it's an 8080 on the internal network. That's what that's doing. So if we look here to the compose file, man in the middle binds on 8080, but is on the internal network only. Okay, so let's go ahead and, oops. Grab, actually I should git status this, git diff, yeah, okay. So what we're gonna have to do is this proxy itself needs to speak TLS and plain HTTP. Needs to do both. And almost always that's done on 2 ports, so we're probably gonna have to do two ports. Let's go ahead, I want to think here. What port is what is the HTTPS alt port? 8443. What is the HTTP alt port? 8000, I think. 8080. So we got 8080 and 8443. So this guy, the proxy, he's gonna have a few flags here that he didn't previously have. So he's gonna need a certain key. He's also gonna have a HTTP adder and a HTTPS adder. Just go back to proxy main. So we only have adder here, so this is going to be the HTTP adder, and that's going to be called HTTP adder there, and this is going to be port 8080. Address to listen on for HTTP proxy, and then we'll have HTTPS adder. HTTPS adder. This is going to be 8443 for HTTPS proxy. Okay, let's go back to the main. Or we're in the main already. So in here, HTTP proxy server will be constructed as HTTP adder. Can I break these things up by doing GW? Yeah. Oh, it doesn't like that because it wrapped it. I could do this GW, this GW, and this GW. Okay. Servlet will handle connects and talk directly to clients. So that's HTTP adder, yeah. And we'll do another one here, and it's going to be a different adder. And down here, we're going to have to do these in Go routines. So the first one, Go func, like that. We'll say wait group sync dot wait group WG or WG. That it's been a while since I wrote any Go. Let me say WG dot add to defer WG dot done. And here we say wg.wait. So we spin up that first one, starting HTTP proxy server on proxy server.adder. This would be HTTP proxy server adder. This will be HTTP proxy server adder. Okay. HTTPS. This will now be listen serve TLS. We'll have to go over here and go to our man in the middle since it's the only thing that's doing TLS right now. And this guy's gonna have to yeah, okay. It's gonna have to give us the cert and key for TLS. I broke those in the wrong location. So we got server. Okay, so these can now go over here. cert and key. So this will be, do I need to read them in, or I can just give it the file path? I think I can just give it the file path. Server cert path, server key path. Oh, log.fatal. I don't want to do that anymore. Log dot what? Default. Log dot print. Okay, I need to dereference these guys. Makes sense. Dereference, dereference. Is not required because there's defaults. These are though. Okay, makes sense. Okay. So that should get us talking TLS on the proxy. So let's go ahead and down this thing, and we'll bring it back up with a build. In the meantime, we need to go to our compose file, pass in some new things. So we got certain key, HP adder is going to be 0.0.0.0. I don't have to pass these in. These do have defaults. Main.go for the proxy. They do have defaults, so I'm not going to pass these in. Man in the middle does have a default, but it needs to be overwritten, so we're doing that. Certain key. Now we need to mount those. Certs. Okay. Alright, so it should be talking TLS now. So build, detach, logs, and then curl to, oh no, is my curl up here? Curl's up here. Let me grab this guy. Actually, I'll just run it here. Okay, it doesn't like that because I'm on the wrong port. It makes sense. But if I do Docker PS here, The proxy is now doing 8080 twice? That doesn't make sense. I messed that up. Compose. We need to do 8080 and 8443. 8443. And then we'll say, hey, down. This is another reason not to run Python containers. We're now going to bring it back up with a rebuild. And I'm going to say don't detach. Okay. Enable watch W. Okay. Let's try doing our curl now. Curl. I want this guy in my clipboard. Copy, copy, copy. Paste. Go. Down. Up. Detach. Logs. Curl. Okay, so it is on the wrong port now. Okay, 8443. Okay. No alternative subject name matches the host name localhost. Oh, okay. So the certs that we generated. Let's do a curl or yeah, curl VVV on HTTPS / localhost 8443. Sometimes this gives you the subject alternate names. Okay, so we got a bunch of TLS stuff. It just says doesn't match, doesn't say what it is. Test proxy server. Okay, if we do open SSL connect client connect to localhost 8443 S client. What is give me the open SSL command to connect to a server and dump its cert data. I knew it was S client, S_client. Connect host port. I knew I had it close there. Alright, so here the subject is that. The alternate names, I don't see. Do we have no alternate names? Where are the alternate names? Server name youtube.com. I'll just do YouTube. I mean, I can decode it from that, but I can also do open SSL X509 in. It's going to be under actually cat out compose volumes certs dot certs. Okay, that's why. We do open SSL x509 in dot certs server. So you have proxy CA and we have server. Proxy server. Dot pem. No out. And text. Okay, so now we have our SANs here, which are youtube.com. Okay, well, that's not helpful. Let's do localhost. There was the program command generate certs, SAN. And here I'm going to do localhost. Okay, so now we have localhost in there. So let's go ahead and do a down on this. It's always that Python container. I was having networking issues with it too, like the networking wasn't working on it. Build logs curl. Hey, look at that. So we have TLS now working. Okay. Let's see if we can get Chrome to do the TLS. So that would require us going under .local application or share applications Chromium, and then do PAC. We say, hey, you're going to be HTTPS. You're going to be, or the PAC is not. Yeah, we don't care about PAC being HTTPS, so we don't care about that yet. We will care about that eventually. But our PAC is now responding with HTTPS. So let's go ahead and try it. Sorry, let me PSAUX grep for Chromium. Okay, it's complaining because the AI is running. Alright, now let's run a new browser. I'm going to put it over here. And we'll go to youtube.com. And it's still loading its stuff there. Okay. Let's look at that PAC. This has to be 8443. That's why. There we go. Let's go ahead and rebuild. Which means down. Which means closing this out. Please Python, stop not dying. Alright, rebuild, or just say build. Actually does require a rebuild. And then logs. Okay. Let's actually clear, make sure Chromium is not running. Let's go go ahead and rerun it, and we'll go to youtube.com. Doing a lot of traffic there. Unable to type assert a hijacker from the proxy itself. Okay, so the proxy is getting the traffic from Chrome, which is nice that it's sending it there. But it's not able to type assert a hijacker inside of it. So let's go ahead and say, oops, sorry. Proxy main, type assert. So it got to here and it bailed out. It's like hijacking, asserting connect hijacking. The other thing I want to do here is indicate which proxy I am. So new proxy handler here needs to take in a string saying which type it is. So the man middle address, but also like the type. So we'll just say protocol needs to be also passed in here, which will be in this case HTTP. And then in this case will be HTTPS. Okay, we go down here, we got this protocol. We're gonna printf that into here, into every log statement here. We'll say %s colon like that, %s colon, and protocol printf. Okay. Need to say protocol here, %s. Let's do all the prints. Print. So we got that one, that one. Did not get this one. Protocol. Needs to be printf now. %s. That is fixed. This needs the %s. Okay. Protocol. This needs a printf now. %s. Protocol. This thing is just the response. %s. Protocol. Printf. It's another networking thing. This needs the protocol. %s. Finally, in here, all right, let's look at some of these warnings here. So we got this guy, error return value of client close is not checked. Oh, can I do that? No, I have to do like func of this thing like this and like that and do that. It's like so annoying. Oops. Delete that like that. just to get the linter happy. This thing I can just say, hey, I don't care about that. Same thing here. This is gonna be func underscore is equal to. Okay, fixes that. Okay, that's all done now. So let's go back over here and say down, and then curl. Curl, we don't need a curl anymore. We need grep for Chromium, make sure it's not running. Okay, so now build. Logs. YouTube. Yeah, okay. It's all going to HTTPS, which is nice. That means Chromium does support HTTPS proxying. All right, let's do what? What are we doing here? We need to figure out why this hijacker is not working. So we got our code here. So first thing it says, I'm asserting that you try to connect, which worked. We were able to do that. And then we try type asserting it to a hijacker. And then it says error unable to do that, protocol. And then we could say like W. And we'll say type is equal to %t of that to see if we can get some more information there. So let's go ahead and build. And then boop. Logs. YouTube.com. HTTP2 response writer. Okay. So we can't hijack the HTTP2 response writer. How does connect work with HTTP2? How does connect work with HTTP2? So I'm just gonna go ahead and comment that out, and we'll roll with this. Seems reasonable. Do a code review on it too. Okay, so we go into handler func and we say, hey, you gotta be connect, which is exactly what we did in, I'm gonna close these guys up. So we did the same thing here. Method must be connect. And then we go on the request major proto if it's 1, then we do this. If it's 2, we do that. Unsupport HP version. Okay, great. HP 1 version should be the same. It's not. Maybe because I told it to remove these. Well, let's just run it and see if it works. Sorry, I gotta kill the AI. And then I can bring this in. Logs. Do a YouTube here. Well, it's not failing for the same reason. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and roll with their split implementation, and we will fix it up here. So let's close up, handle this one and this one for now. We're gonna remove this, or uncomment this. And here, I'm gonna grab the assert connect, bring it back up here. That's the same. Okay, so now we delete that. This is gonna be, okay, that works. Let's go down here again, go to the hijack part, all the way down to here. So this is gonna be very much the HP 1 version. So we attempt our hijacker, okay. Hijack not supported. Client con, hijack, handle the error, defer the close, upstream, dial timeout, handle the error, say hey, bad gateway, defer the upstream close. Otherwise, say hey, your connection was established. And then create our error chain, do the proxy copying between each, and then wait for the error chain to finish. Or wait for the error chain to receive a error. An error chain got passed in where to both of these. And they'll just write their error to it. Okay. So where HTTP2 differs, I guess we don't need to have protocol here anymore because it's built into it, right? So we're just going to look for protocol and delete that. Oh no, that's a TLS. So we say version is equal to 11% %s. Oops. I'm gonna delete these notes because I actually think these are pretty helpful. Maybe not to have on forever, but okay. So everywhere we see protocol, we need to update it with version as well. Okay, so here, version. We give version here. Here, version. Remove this note, version, 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 version. Okay. Now that we pass it anywhere, we just gotta copy these bytes here and look for %s. Oops. Okay. Insert %s/. There we go. Okay, so HTTP 1.1 is wired up. So now dial up TCP. What is this guy? This guy can get deleted. The first thing we do here is take control over the client con. We can't do that. Can't hijack it. Okay, so we can't hijack, so we go directly to dialing TCP, dial upstream. So I'm going to copy the version here. I'm going to say 2. Then I'm going to copy this log here, which is dialing upstream. In fact, I'm going to just copy this whole block here, paste it in here and see what the difference is. So we dial upstream, upstream con, dial timeout, this thing. The only thing different here is that we write to the client directly here, but we don't have a client con to write to the thing directly, so we have to say this 502 bad gateway, and then that is all good. Okay, now this is where we write to the HB11, which we can't, but we can say status okay. Can't say connection established. Which I don't think it matters. I think this is like optional. As long as it gets a 200, it's happy. Okay. Now, ensure data frames flush immediately. So we say, hey, the response writer, the thing that I'm writing to, you're now a flusher. And we're going to flush you constantly. I'm going to rename this to be can flush. There we go. Right header could error out, right? No? Okay. So we do our bidirectional copy. We create an error chan. Here, we're just going to do an IO copy, but we do an optional flush where we're copying down. Okay. Do we have any logs that we're missing here? Yeah, we got plenty of logs. This log printf here, right above the Go proxies. Okay. And then there's a log printf signaling tunnel upstream established. Do that there. Dialing upstream. Okay. So let's go ahead and build. Got a log. And we're going to background this, do our grep. Nothing. Let's go ahead and run youtube.com. So it says bidirectional stream established, but it's not. Clearly not actually copying the data. Okay. So we get to, oh, something happened there. It's saying that it's establishing the upstream, but it's saying that the bidirectional copy is good, but here it is, TLS handshake error. Oh, because we're doing TLS inside of HTTP2. This seems a little crazy here. This R body has to be like actual TLS. We could just disable HTTP2 on the TLS server. I'm gonna opt for that because we don't need it. How do you disable HTTP2 on a Go, what do they call this thing, a server? HTTP.server. TLS next proto. Make a map of string to func. TLS next proto. Nil. It's just an empty map. Can't I do like, oops. Something like this? No. Okay, we'll do that then. All right, let's go ahead and do our build. Kill this. Wait for that to die. Delete this comment here. What does this thing mean? Unused parameter R. Okay, we can underscore it. Okay. Grab the logs. Grep. Good. Do that. YouTube.com. Hey, look at that. It works. So basically I just disabled HTTP2. So it's doing HTTP1.1 over HTTPS over TLS. So I'm going to add a comment here saying note, this disables H2. This H2 implementation is incomplete. AI slop. I'll leave that off. Okay. So now that supports HTTP 2. Or sorry, it supports HPS. Just not over HTTP 2. Turn some light on here because it's dark. Okay, well, we solved that problem. I guess the other thing I should do with my PAC is to fall back to HTTP and proxy. So we'll say HTTP here. Or just say proxy. Proxy. Let's say HTTP. HTTP on 8000, I think it was. Or 8080. 8080, yeah. Docker PS. Yeah, 8080 here. I'm just gonna proxy everything though. I mean, not for this test stuff, but like, we'll just say to do proxy everything. Well, I'll take that out of here. All right. So I think that's pretty much it, right? Yeah. Get et al, get DC. So we added localhost to this cert just so that we can talk TLS to the proxy. We then did some formatting on the flags and stuff on the man in the middle. Not much change there. Our PAC changed a lot. We added TLS and then degrading into HTTP and the proxy statement into direct. This proxy changed a lot, where we now receive certificate and key and an HTTPS adder. And we then validate our certificate, and we spin up two servers now. Both have HTTP2 disabled, but one is for HTTP and another one is for HTTPS. We then expanded on the handler to handle the connection based on its protocol and version. And then in our compose, we just allowed it to receive those certs. So get CI, we'll do task manager here, get CIM, get LGA, yeah, allow, or we'll say, yeah, allow proxy and PAC. Or say have proxy and PAC prefer HTTPS. I'll just say that. Cool. Okay, so task warrior wire up TN. So we have figure out how to encrypt traffic to the proxy. So that's done. T5 done. TN. The prod deployment I'm holding off on. Configure laptop, no. That's all other stuff. Okay. It's almost 6 o'clock, and 6 o'clock is my cutoff for the day. I'm glad we figured out this encryption issue, and that means that Chromium does not have a limitation. It can talk TLS to the proxy. So in this situation, we're talking TLS, HP1, HPS, HP11 to the proxy. We then say, hey, connect. And we then do a connect to the man-in-the-middle server. The man-in-the-middle server then does TLS connection and termination, intercepts our traffic, rewrites the response. In fact, it doesn't even make a request to YouTube, and serves up an HTML page for us. So I think what I want to do now is maybe stub out a bunch of work for us now that we're working on this project again. Just that we have some stuff to work on and have it prioritized. We could do that in the next 15 minutes here. Excalidraw, let's go ahead and pull this up. So I'm gonna kill this. We'll say down. Make sure it's turned off. So one of the things that I want to do is remove a Python container, or Python programs have Go link directly to CPython. And then we'll say consolidate all commands into sub commands of a single binary. Yeah. So there's some things I want to do to kind of bring it all together into that single artifact, single deliverable artifact that you can just run and it works. So to do that, we have to figure out how to bind against CPython and do it in a way that's statically linked instead of dynamically linked. So let's go ahead and just search for like CPython Golang. See if we can find something here. Golang binding to a CPython C API. So I'd never used a C API, but it is something I want to play with. Go Python CPy3. This was updated a long time ago, not anytime recently. So they got some Py code here, which they're passing into compile. This was last updated 5 years ago, 4 years ago for this one. This repo is archived. Jesus. No one wants to talk to Python directly. Is it possible to write a Go program that then runs Python code in the same process as the Go program? If so, what repos facilitate this? What is this? That's interesting. So this one is Go Python. Seemed like Datadog had some stuff around here back in the day. GPython. So this is 11 months ago. But where did it have its change? This is a knit commit thing. I merged a pull request 11 months ago, but none of these directories. Maybe it was the README. Yeah, this is probably the README. Merge pull request number 2. Files changed. Primitive.go, which maybe was removed. No. 2 years ago. 11 months ago. How does that work? I guess because... No. How does it say 2 years ago? Oh, maybe because the merge was 11 months ago? Yeah, that makes sense. But this was 2 years ago. Okay, that makes sense. The change was 2 years ago. The merge was 11 months ago. Suffice to say, it's not very well maintained. But it works. This one's 3 months ago. And has a number of things that are in the months. Lots of contributors, lots of stars, lots of forks and watchers. This one's called GPython. This one's Py4Go. Okay, GPython, which is in the Go Python org. GPython. Is there anything else over here? GoPy? Oh, GPython is a Python interpreter written in Go. But it's not a way of invoking batteries not included. Exactly. There's no standard library. There's no support for packages, probably. So that's not an option. Alright. Wait a minute. Was that the same thing? Yeah, these are the same things. This just had source ChatGPT. Okay. This guy. I think I want embedding, yeah. And embedding is part of what is the parent of this? Extending? Why am I on 2.6? 2.7. Let's go like dev here. Extending embedding to the Python interpreter. Embedding Python into another application. God, I hate their stuff so much. Okay, it's 1. What? That's so weird. This is all part of the What's new in Python? What? Python C API reference manual, no. Extending and embedding. So it's in a different section here. It's so weird trying to navigate this stuff. Might just pop open the Chrome Inspector and like navigate the DOM nodes, because this is just like forever. I just want the parent. I just want to go up the tree. This is insane. This is literally insane. Okay, well, I'm going to inspect and say, hey, who is the parent of this? That's that. And then embedding Python to larger application. That makes sense. Extending and embedding the Python interpreter. That makes sense. Then all this stuff up here. That is the Python standard library. We don't care. Language reference, don't care. Setup and usage, don't care. Tutorial, don't care. What's known in Python? Okay, so all that stuff there we don't care about. And then there's a whole section on extending and embedding the Python interpreter. And then the C API reference manual. Distributing Python, don't care. No, don't care. Nope. Okay. Anyways. This might be useful for reading. I'll leave this open for reading tomorrow. It looks like GPython is not what we want though, because it's like a pure re-implementation of Python. What we want is to talk to Python over CGO. And if we go back over here, this thing here had a GoPy generates a Python CPython extensions module. I'm not sure if that, I don't think that's what we want. That's if you want to write C code for CPython. I don't know, we'll check out this org tomorrow and some of these other repos here. But I think that's it for tonight for me. Yeah, I need to start winding down for the evening. So tomorrow will be Saturday, and I will be on in the morning for some reading, and then in the afternoon I'll be working on more of this. So I'll be on then. Later.